Mike Moore Media.
On this edition of Rise Up Reidsville, a special program about a very special event in Reidsville, September 11th. On our media line, Chris Phillips, Assistant City Manager of Administration, Judy Yarbrough, City Marketer, and Josh Farmer, Fire Marshal, Assistant Fire Chief. We'll be talking to all of them. But first, let's start with you, Judy. Set the stage for us. What is coming up on 9/11?
So on 9/11, and by the way, good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Judy.
On 9/11, we've always had an event ever since that tragic happening.
Yeah.
We have always had an event of some kind honoring and remembering what happened that horrific day. So this year we've got a whole new thing that's happening, and we're very excited about it. And I'm going to let Chris talk a little bit more about it, but we do have a sculpture that's being put in out at Fire Station 1, which is the fire station that's located right there on Scale Street. And it's an amazing thing, and it's got the beam, a beam from the Twin Towers, and then it's got some other things. And Jim Gallucci, who was the sculptor who did the sculpture downtown at the roundabout, has donated this to the city. And Ricky Loy of Loy Grading has put in the information about, has helped us with it as well. So the ceremony itself is going to start at 11 o'clock on Saturday, September the 11th, and it will take place at the fire department, like I said, on scales. And the ceremony should be about 45 minutes in length. The keynote speaker is a retired Vice Admiral Bruce Lindsay, and Lindsay retired from the Navy on January 31st of 2020 after 37 years, distinguished years of service. He was also a 1978 graduate of Reidsville High School. There is going to be limited seating, so people are encouraged to bring their own seats, and of course mask and social distancing are encouraged. And, we're going to have, again, the program's going to be about 45 minutes. We got a bagpipe player that's going to be there, which I think will add a very nice touch to the ceremony. We'll be doing the ringing of the bell. The mayor will speak, the admiral, and then, of course, our fire chief will also be speaking, Chief Bracken. So, and we'll raise the flag. So I think it's going to be a great event. We're very excited about it.
Well, I'm excited with you. And keeping it local there with your keynote speaker, that's wonderful. The commemorative sculpture, which is really the centerpiece for this event, Chris, tell us about that, please.
Yeah, so we're going to be unveiling the sculpture on that day. It's going to sit there on the corner of Scales and Williams in front of the fire station. And so after the terrorist attack and when the Twin Towers were taken down, the metal out of it was collected, and there was a call to artists that the metal was available, and they wanted it to be used to build things like this sculpture that we're going to have. And Jim Gallucci is an artist, sculptor in Greensboro. Has been there for a really long time. As Judy said, he did Budding Future that's in our roundabout here in Reidsville. But he was able to go up and secure 37,000 pounds of steel from the site.
Wow.
And he's made a couple of pieces. There's one in downtown Greensboro that he did. But the piece that he's been very generous to give to the city of Reidsville, he actually created in 2014, and it was in a park in Dallas for a while, but it was returned to his studio, and we were able to secure that as a donation. It has a beam, an I-beam across the top of it that's actually from the Twin Towers, and when people come out and see it and see how mangled that piece of metal is, knowing how strong it had to be, it's very impactful. And it's across the top of the sculpture. It sits on four panels that Mr. Gallucci actually cut out some silhouettes. He used pictures from New York from September 11th, 2001 to do these silhouettes out of the other metal. And once it all comes together, you know, when folks get there, it's kind of hard to explain it, but when you see it, you understand what it is. So in the silhouettes, you can see firefighters, you can see police officers, you can see emergency personnel that were helping people. There's silhouettes there in those panels, and like I said, he donated it to us. And then Ricky Lloyd, he's owns a local construction company. Ricky used his time and his equipment and donated supplies to actually build up the corner, build a retaining wall where all this is going to be, and went over and got the piece of art and brought it and installing it himself. And I'll tell you, I was down there the day that Ricky was working on it, and he really considered it an honor to be able to do that. He said just to be able to work with that I-beam, knowing where it came from, just really was an honor to him, much more than the gratification of doing something nice for us.
Sure.
To be able to work with that piece of metal meant a lot to him.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm getting chill bumps, Chris, hearing you describe it and talking about it, and just the emotions involved in that whole day. Yeah. Well,
you know, there's a whole generation of folks out there now that weren't born in 2001.
Right.
I would think a large part of our current military weren't born or weren't old enough to really know what was going on. But this is a way that folks can actually, once the piece of art's there, it's going to be there for people to come up to reflect on it. You know, it's where you can touch it with your own hands and see it. And I think it's going to be a good addition to our downtown. But also I think it's just a meaningful item for people in our city to remember that day.
Sure.
And you know, we were all a part of it. We were down here in Reidsville watching what was going on, but we were all a part of it.
Yeah, I was actually on the air when that was happening that morning, and you know, it's one of those times you'll never forget. So I want to thank the city of Reidsville and Jim and Ricky and everyone involved in getting that in place there. Yeah, I can't wait to see that dedication again on September 11th, 9/11. Let me turn to you, Josh. Josh Farmer is fire marshal and assistant fire chief in Reidsville. To get your perspective on this, Josh, the dedication of this on that day.
Yeah, Mike. So, of course, the dedication, the sculpture itself will be dedicated to all Rockingham County first responders. This is not just a city thing, of course. We're thankful and excited that it is being installed here in the city at Fire Station 1. But this will recognize all Rockingham County first responders. And what's so special about this project is it not only recognizes first responders, but all the civilians, the citizens, the volunteers, everyone that was involved that day and days after. And just allows everyone to kind of never forget and remember those brave men and women. And with that being said, the whole Never Forget slogan, Mike, we decided to install a medallion at the entrance of the memorial site. And Never Forget just simply means to never forget the actions that took place that day. As you guys talked about a little bit earlier, for those of us who lived through the terrorist attack, most people can recall exactly where they were, who they were with, and some even, what they were doing. It's just etched into our minds. So we chose to place that medallion engraved with the Never Forget slogan at the entrance because as you enter the memorial site, we want everyone to always remember the sacrifices those brave souls made that day.
Sure, yeah. And let me explore that a little bit further there, Josh, when you're talking about all of the people, the first responders, the military, and really this touches everybody then and now, doesn't it?
It does. And, this is a permanent site for local individuals to stop by and get that surreal feeling of seeing what actually occurred that day, having the steel come from the World Trade Center. it's just almost unbelievable to see, Mike.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you are out there on the front line. What does this sculpture mean to you, being in the job you have, and to you as a member of the Reidsville community, Josh?
Well, Mike, to me personally, I always want to remember the sacrifices those brave men and women made that day. You know, as a first responder, each call I respond to can be dangerous. You know, I want to replicate that bravery and selfless trait, you know, as they did back on September 11, 2001. And having this 9/11 memorial site here in Reidsville is a reminder of that and a huge honor to those who pay the ultimate sacrifice.
Really is. Wow. Well, thanks to everyone for making this happen. And right there in that permanent spot in Reidsville and right near Market Square, to kind of show where that is there at Fire Station number 1. Before we finish up, we need to make sure everyone knows exactly when this is and the time and all of that. Is that back to you for that, Judy?
Sure. It's Saturday, September the 11th, of course, and it will be at 11 a.m., and it will be at Fire Station 1 right there on Scale Street.
Yeah, you know, this is the 20th anniversary,
Yeah.
20th commemorative of the terrorist attack. We did think, a lot of times we've done it in the morning, you know, recognizing the time that the planes actually hit the first tower. But with it being the 20th anniversary, we knew there would be a lot of national coverage, and a lot of people probably wanted to be home and see that in the mornings. Mm-hmm. So we thought we would do it 11 o'clock, and being that we're having a little more of a ceremony with a keynote speaker. And let me just add, you know, the Vice Admiral is from Reidsville, and he's very excited about coming home to be able to take part of this event. So we were glad that it all worked out, that he was able to be here. But yep, so Saturday, September 11th at 11 o'clock at downtown at the fire station.
9/11 at 11 in Reidsville. And as Josh just mentioned, that medallion there on the front engraved with "Never Forget," remembering and commemorating that day. It's Patriots Day, and special invitation to everyone to come out for that. Oh, this is great to have this right there in Reidsville. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Josh.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Mike,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I just would like to say the streets are going to be closed there that day, so you can park downtown and walk in, or you could park over there in the church parking lot behind the fire station and walk in that way.
Okay. Wonderful. All righty. Thank you again for the preview of what's happening on 9/11.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. I hope you've written that down on your schedule, your calendar. This special event commemorating and remembering 9/11. It is going to be Saturday, September 11th, 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and Reidsville unveiling that commemorative sculpture right there at Fire Station number 1. For more information about what's happening in Reidsville, a couple of ways to check that out, riseup.reidsville.com, and always be sure to visit the Market Square Facebook page for upcoming events.